Hello, everyone. It must be Friday. Let it fly on Fridays with Gerry. 18 December 2020. Brought to you this week by Justin at RC and Coffee because he had me red as a baby's ass this week. And if you don't know why, head over to Justin's RC and Coffee page, channel, and he's been gone for a little bit, but he's back now. He's filling everyone in. You, sir, are too kind. So, for everyone who may be first time viewing the Let It Fly on Fridays, I don't know, is this a YouTube show? What is this, episode 14, I believe? This show I've made so that I can make notes all week on things that riled me up or news that was informative to me, so I don't bring them into the vehicle that I'm working on the workbench. You'll notice Let It Fly on Fridays is this motif, work is on the bench. So, for everyone new, just let it know that I'm just going to be ranting. Pardon me. I will use saucy language. I will use cattywampus and thingamajigger to describe things. It's just to have fun, to acknowledge my commenters, small RC pages, YouTube channels, and information that I've heard during the week. So, we're going to start it off with Fred Williamson showed me a crazy thing that I've never seen. It is a belt drive for an RC vehicle. Now, I have had street cars, race cars that have had belt driven for all-wheel drive. This reminds me of a snow machine, or for you people in the lower 48, a snowmobile, their drive. You've got your pinion gear, you've got your spur gear, and they're driven together with a belt. Hadn't seen it, don't know the intricacies of it just yet because there's not a lot of information on the page. Injora, if any of you have been familiar, Injora makes lots of RC. They make some really nice bodies of Wranglers and some Cherokee bodies and a lot of nice hop-ups for RC cars. So I see they make them, and there's about 5 other companies, but I couldn't find a breakdown of it. Does it have a slipper clutch in that main drive gear, or is it just straight? I've read some reviews that it's very peppy. It comes in a 3.2 millimeter and a 5 millimeter, which from the research that I've seen from people reviewing them is just the size of your shaft on your transmission or your motor. So if anyone's familiar with that drive, I'd be interested to know. You know, they're making it for a rock crawler, but you know, I've noticed with snow machines, any substantial resistance makes the belt slip. So I don't know, is this a slipper clutch style thing? Is it something adjustable? So if anyone's seen them and anyone knows, you know, go to the comments, fill us in. Let's see. Because my list is substantial tonight, I've had to make a list. That is huge. So, the next new item, and this kind of blows my skirt up and chaps my ass at the same friggin' time. RC 4-wheel drive finally has released a new chassis. Completely new. Now, I'm going to say when I consult my notes here, where is it? There it is. It appears to me as kind of a love child of a Gelande 2 and a Trailfinder 2, which none of you have ever answered me. I've never seen a Gelande 1 or a Trailfinder 1. So, this has shocks and springs on it. It's got a revolutionary, neat body setup that you actually have gripping pins for the post on the body so you can just clip it on. Now, I was trying to think hard. There's another company that makes a similar setup, but this is all new for RC 4-wheel drive, except for the fact that, of course, it's got a generic Wrangler body on it. They're calling it the Black Rock, just like their 1/18 scale is the Black Rock body. It's got a cover over the grill, so it's completely, you would never know that it was a Wrangler. They're calling it electric blue, not the standard brilliant blue that is generally seen on a Wrangler. But it's called the Cross Country. It is $499.99, pre-orders only right now. It is running on 155-inch rims, which I do like the RC 4-wheel drive 155 rims. That's what I've got on the 4Runner. They just look right. They look like a 15-inch wheel. So what they have? They're called Compass MT scale tires. I don't know if they've had those before, but they look pretty good compared to some of the other tires that they've released on their kits. It's got a removable roof, an opening hood, but they skimped on the fender liners. It's wide open. It comes with a 2-speed, which is, they usually only give those out in the kits, not in the ready to run, so there's a score, because the RC 4-wheel drive 2-speed is pretty nice. Gives you that pep when you need it. It's not by any means super fast, but it's better than the ultra low crawling speed they have. The front servo is angled. It's crazy. So it angles down and operates. I'm pretty sure they did that to make it look more scale from underneath, because then that way you don't have your servo sticking down like their other kits generally have. Like I said, the springs and shocks are separate, more like a scale Wrangler. So that's pretty nice, going for that scale look. It comes with their K44 axles, which are pretty nice axles for scale. It's got their pretty bulletproof hammer transfer case, which is nice. It's got a flat bottom skid plate on it, so like I was talking about with mine over here that has the transfer case hangs down pretty far, so it's flush. It's got an 11.9 inch wheelbase, so it makes it bigger than both the Gelande and the Trailfinder 2. So now we've got another size in their repertoire. We covered the bracket, so It's got your standard 3-link with panhard in the front, but it's got something in the rear they're calling a double triangulated rear end. So, kind of like to check that out a little more. That's could be pretty neat. And that's about it on the 2 new items. So if you like those Wranglers, go check out the Cross Country. And let me know about this. Fred was asking me if I might do one. You know, trying a new doohickey. You know, I might try it if one of you other guys have tried one and they work well. So let me know in the comments. Now, I'm going to tell you about my last video about doing upgrades. Settle down, people. Settle down. This is my view on things. I am in no way, shape, or form, dogging on anyone else or saying what you do is wrong or right. It's your experience to me that dictates upgrades. If your truck's not working, you gotta upgrade it. Luckily for me, if my truck's not functioning the way I want, I can throw it back on the shelf and grab another one. But for those of you that may not have, been collecting for 30 years, it's what you want to do. Mine was just my feelings, so now hopefully this way, if you start asking about crazy technical upgrades, not gonna know. But like I said, with the Christmas truck that I'm gonna get, I am going with no less than 3 different people's opinions and comments on upgrading a truck from the start. It sounds like I may be disappointed, and I'd rather not learn it from the hard way. And I'm going to get in and experiment with some of the upgrades. So, get back with me. I'm going to show you every step of the way, every upgrade I do on this truck, so we can all learn together. Which, learning together brings me back to, you guys are terrific. I am so happy that with my small channels, I now can go to numerous one of my small channels and see familiar names. Thank you guys. We're bouncing around. We're supporting each other. We're getting other views. It's what I wanted. And I'm so friggin' excited. But coincidentally, because of the cross country, I want to come clean with you guys, because anyone who's been on the channel for a while knows I am not a fan of Wranglers. I can't even say that I am a fan of any Dodge Jeeps because of what Jeep has become, which I can give you a brief history lesson. So sit back, pull out a beverage, cover the seal so nobody knows what you're drinking. In 1940, when Jeep came out, when Bantam won the contract before the Second World War, they were enough of an innovation that Britain said, wow, you know what? I like the looks of this American thing. Let's design us something too. And that's where the Land Rover came from. After the Second World War, Japan said, wow, I really like what this American company, this British company are doing. We are going to build an excellent off-road vehicle. Pardon me again. That's where the FJ came from. So you have 3 companies who designed a very capable, very inexpensive military vehicle. Willys Overland may have been the most savvy business people ever and said, you know what? We've got these incredible GIs coming back. They love our product. Why don't we make it available to them? They don't have a lot of money. Let's give them a bare bones, most capable vehicle on the market right now that they can buy inexpensively, but that truck will be durable and last. So they started selling the Jeep to the civilians, just like Land Rovers became available to civilians. The FJs were always available to the civilians. So you've got three companies who are making a excellent vehicle cheaply, capably for the people. Well, as time goes on, as innovations always happen, two of those companies said, you know what? Let's move on. Let's make this vehicle more toward another targeted audience, and that would be Toyota and Land Rover. Toyota and Land Rover basically became a status symbol. I believe now, because Jeep has been owned by the working man companies, and then they were bought by a company who was owned by Mercedes, now by Fiat. Both those companies make cars targeted toward rich people. The only performance claim to fame that Jeep, in my opinion, has is the fact that they make the only truck that's still available with solid axles. You've got a vehicle now that, when it started, say my 1977 CJ7, when it was brand new, it sold for $4,200. AMC continued that tradition up until the mid-'80s, when they started having problems. Now, hate to tell you, all you Jeepy guys, I have that Wrangler right there because the YJ Wrangler was AMC's invention. They had already built this truck. They sold it for 1 year as the AMC Wrangler YJ, because there was late 80s, there was gas mileage. There was slowly starting to look at emissions. The CJ had a reputation for, in extreme situations, rolling over, which you had an inexpensive vehicle that was super capable. Yeah, you're gonna go, because that truck, you can leave the showroom and you can take that thing and climb up a mountain with it. Yeah, you might get in trouble. So they had to cater to the government, and that's where the YJ came from. Somebody else's invention from 1990, was that it? That 1990 was when Chrysler completely took over AMC. So the 87 to 88, I believe, was the first year AMC sold the YJ. They catered. That truck went because now we were into gizmos. So they changed it up. So the biggest attack that Dodge ever got wasn't even their fault, was the square headlights. But Dodge didn't care about that innovation. until 2007 when they finally redesigned the Wrangler to their specifications. Leaf springs were gone. Now we put coil springs on. I have the dubious pleasure of having worked in a used car field for 20 years. The worst driving vehicle I've ever driven in my life is a Wrangler with a lift kit on it with nothing but springs to hold it up. It just sways. It is scary the higher you get it. But I've moved ahead. The Grand Cherokee was also a fully R&D project that AMC already had prototypes built, working out the kinks when Chrysler bought them. So the Grand Cherokee wasn't their invention. The Grand Cherokee right now is a Dodge Durango. A Dodge Durango and a Grand Cherokee are the exact same truck. I don't consider a Grand Cherokee a capable off-road vehicle. I've had them stuck in a snowbank. Not a capable off-roader. Which the original CJs, all the way back to the CJ1, you could buy them at the dealer and you could just go. You had 3 motor options. You had a V8, a straight 6. Then you had a little 4-banger. So you had leaf springs. You had ultra low gearing. When you put that thing, my 77 even, that I have right now, if I'm in 4-wheel drive and I'm driving down the road and I just let off the gas, that truck will stop right now because it is geared so low, which isn't good for gas mileage. It's got a carbureted straight 6 4-barrel, not good for emissions. So I understand where things went, but meanwhile, until Dodge's version of a Jeep came along, I don't really remember the term mall crawler being used much of anywhere. So, just to make sure I could have a valid point, the lineup right now of Jeep is the Wrangler pickup truck, the Grand Cherokee Durango, and I don't even know what the hell the Cherokee, the Patriot, the Compass are supposed to be. They're basically the similar vehicles. They're like 3 of the same vehicles with different names. Now the Renegade is just a Fiat Panda that is huge in Europe. We just rebadged it. We're calling it a Jeep. I don't consider a Jeep Renegade a capable off-road vehicle. Those are all independent front suspension. You know, ton of work, just like a Wrangler. You can't just jump in a Wrangler and go do whatever you want. You have to upgrade it to be a competent off-road vehicle. And I just looked at the specs on a Jeep Gladiator. It's got 11 inches of ground clearance. My 4-wheeler has 10. How do you consider that a capable off-roader? It's going to be dragging rocks in no time. Just saying. Okay. Now, my biggest problem with all of these, with these Wranglers now, is the price. So just for you guys, I'm in Alaska. You might be cheaper down where you come from. A base Wrangler generally starts at $40,000 to $45,000. That is really expensive for something you might possibly take out off-road and tear it up. I went purposely yesterday for this, to make this video. So I'm assuming that the Jeep Gladiator, Mojave, and Renegade, or Rubicon, my bad, are at the top of the food chain. Those look like they must be the top of the line truck. It's built as a truck that you can go, and it's the ultimate off-roader. Does anyone know what a Jeep Gladiator runs in the price department? Well, coincidentally, I do after today, or yesterday. The Rubicon and the Mojave, sticker priced out the door with all the dealer markups, $66,000 for a pickup truck that you can possibly take off-road. $54,000 if you want to buy the base model, which they're now calling the 80th anniversary, I'm assuming, of the Jeep name, because the Jeep product that started 80 years ago doesn't exist. So I apologize if any of those comments offend people. You'll get over it, don't worry. But $66,000 for an underpowered, moderately capable vehicle that if you buy it, you're not even going to have enough money to lift it up or to do any upgrades to make it truly capable. And if my 20 years of working on vehicles at a dealership has taught me anything, is that Dodge has a problem with electronics. And everything on these trucks is electronic gizmos. So, good luck with that. I'll stick with my $37,000 Toyota Tundra. I'll go put $3,000 worth of tires and wheels on it, and another $1,000 of lift kit. And I will have a more capable, very expensive, or very less expensive off-road vehicle with almost 400 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque to get me where I need to go. So everybody, that is why I don't like Wranglers, because they're a status symbol now. They are not a vehicle for the people to go off-road and have fun with. They are just for people that want to show off that they can spend expensive or buy expensive things with lots of money. And there are just so many other vehicles that people convert to capable off-road vehicles that these RC companies could be making. Hell, the Gladiator lost out to the Toyota Tacoma for best off-road midsize vehicle. Just saying, Tacoma's a better off-roader than the truck they're marketing as an off-roader. Sorry. But let's move on to my shout-outs. You guys have been killing it the last 3 weeks. Holy cow, every week. I've got Braxton Arnold, Steve M. De La Cruz, Jonathan Jett, G3516 dude. He's right along with me with Wranglers. Welcome aboard, buddy. I've got Barbecued Altered RC. Thank you for coming by. Drew Graham, Raul Venesh, STP Ridgeline, Chris Price. Appreciate you coming in the comment sections, helping out with a question from another commenter. That's what I want to see. Shane Pratt, thanks for coming over from RC and Coffee. Once again, I like seeing us all floating back and forth. But that leads me to my problem this week. I have no more small YouTubers. Over 300 plus subscribers. Come on, guys. Some of you got to have pages or channels. I need to learn to keep saying channels. You know, let me know about some small channels, or tell me about some small channels I can go check out. And that's about it for this week. I got my Wrangler ran out. I made sure my AMC Wrangler was illuminated for Nick. Hope you appreciate the steps I go through, Nick. Other than that, Justin, stop embarrassing me, you sweetheart. For everyone else, keep commenting, keep liking and subscribing, tell your friends. Now it's time for me to go eat dinner. And I will see you later.